Hi there, it's Tony Farillas, and I'm back for another virtual lesson for the high school classroom at St. Constantine and Helen Church. Today's topic that I want to talk about is stewardship. What is stewardship? Well, the definition is someone who takes care of another person's property. That's what a steward is. And in our discussion, the question is, who is responsible for taking care of the church that we all go to? Now, we obviously have people that work at the church full time. We have Father Theodore. We have others that are in church all the time. But it's not just those people who are responsible for taking care of the church. And we also have a parish council, which is the governing body of our church here in Reading, and obviously they have a lot of responsibility, but basically everybody who attends the church is responsible for taking care of it. And stewardship is the way that we take care of the church. And there's several aspects of stewardship that I want to talk about today. The first one is financial. Taking care of a church is an expensive proposition. In 2020, our church budget is over $500,000. That's a lot of money. That's $500,000. So we need to raise $500,000 to keep our church and its ministries going this year. So the question is, where do we get this money from? Well, next weekend we have a Greek food festival, the 50th annual Greek food festival at our church. And we're hoping that it's very successful. It's going to be a little different from other festivals in that people aren't going to be allowed to come inside, but they can pick up the food outside, take out, curbside. So we're going to need a lot of help for that, and we're hoping that it brings in a good bit of money to help with our church finances. But that's not going to cover our entire budget. So we rely on other ways to raise money, and most of the money comes from our own parishioners. For example, when you first walk into the church, almost everybody lights a candle, and before they light a candle, they put money in the area and make an offering before they enter the church. And at the end of our liturgy, there's always baskets. We used to pass them, but recently we just put them in the back of the church. And people also put money as an offering in the basket on the way outside of church. But obviously that's not going to bring in $500,000. So we have a formal stewardship program where parishioners, families, pledge a certain amount of money each year to give to the church. And that's where we get most of our funding, through stewardship giving. And that helps cover most of our expenses. So there's a variety of ways that we need to do each year to raise money, and it's important that everybody participates. And you'll hear more about stewardship as we go on. The other thing I wanted to mention is that, you know, your parents contribute money to the church, but you can also help out financially too. When you were in Sunday school at the church, we had a little basket next to the sign-up sheet. And you usually put in $1 and you sign your name in that you were in Sunday school that week. So you may say to yourself, well, $1 is not going to be a big deal, you know. But if, let's say, we had 10 students coming every Sunday over the 35 weeks that we had Sunday school, that's going to be $350. And that will help pay one of the bills each month that we get at the church. So the beauty of stewardship is that everybody gives to the best of their ability. And at the end of the year, we have a pot of money that we can use to help pay our financial obligations. So that's the wonderful thing about stewardship, that you only have to give what you feel comfortable giving. But it only works when everybody gives. So the financial part of it is just one part of stewardship. And actually, one thing I wanted to mention is that Jesus actually talks about giving in various parts of the Gospels. And one of my favorite passages in the gospel is the parable of the poor widow and the two mites. And I just wanted to read you, it's a very brief passage, but it's very important, and I think it really puts things into perspective. So let me just read you, this is from the book of Mark, the Gospel of Mark. Now Jesus sat opposite the treasury and saw how the people put money into the treasury. and many who were rich put in much. Then one poor widow came and threw in 2 mites. Now, mites were the least valuable coin that was available at the time. It's basically a penny. So, today we would give a penny. In this case, this poor widow gave 2 mites into the treasury. So Jesus saw her do that. So he called his disciples and said to them, "Assuredly, I say to you that this poor widow has put in more than all those who have given to the treasury. For they all put in out of their abundance, but she, out of her poverty, put in all that she had, her whole livelihood." So it's not the amount that you give that counts with God. It's the degree of sacrifice out of what a person possesses. Many who give the least give the most, and some who give the most give the least in proportion to their abundance. God takes note of our giving, and that's from the book of Acts. So that's the interesting part about stewardship, is that it's voluntary. You feel blessed by God, and you give back to God, and you help maintain His church. And I think that's the thing that you need to take away about stewardship, is that nobody's forcing you to give. You're doing it willingly, and you're doing it out of love for your church and out of love for God. So now, the financial part of stewardship is just one part of it. You have time, talent, and treasure. And we just spoke about treasure. And it's important because we need to pay our bills in church. We have bills. We have people that work full-time at the church. We have utilities. We have taxes. We have other obligations. So that's very important. But also important is giving your talent and your time to the church or to God. Let's talk about talent for a minute. There are many ways that you can share your talents, and everybody has different talents. For example, if you like to sing and you have a decent voice, you can join the choir and you can participate in the liturgy that way. If you play keyboards, we could use your help as a church organist, and that's another way you can share your talent. If you like to bake or cook, there are many opportunities at our church when we have these food festivals and other fundraisers to help bake and to help cook. So that's another way you can share your talent. The other component is time, and this is a good time of year to talk about that, because next weekend, October 16th, 17th, and 18th, we're going to have our food festival. We need all the help we can get at the festival, and I hope I see all of you there. And all we're asking you is to donate some of your time that weekend to help the church raise money by selling our delicious Greek food products and pastries. So there's other ways that you can give your time to the church besides just coming every Sunday for the liturgy. You can run and for the parish council. I've been on the parish council for a long time, and we do a lot of things to keep the church going. We have a lot of responsibilities, and we donate our time to spend time at meetings and other gatherings and keep things going at the church. There are many other organizations and committees that you can join at the church. So that's another way. We have a food bank. Every month we provide food for needy people in the Reading area, and you can certainly donate your time there. And that involves basically picking up boxes and putting them in the back of people's vehicles as they pull into our food bank area. There are all sorts of things you can do. And the main thing is, next weekend, I hope I see all of you, because this is a wonderful opportunity for us to get together as a church community outside of Sunday liturgy and help out. And, no skills required. You strictly have to just donate some of your time back to your church to help the church keep going. So I hope I see all of you at the food festival next weekend. And God bless. Okay, one last thing. I need you to email me and answer a couple of real simple questions so I know that you watched this video. My email address is tfarillas@yahoo.com. And here's my 2 questions for you. How much does it cost to operate our church for a year? Remember I mentioned what our 2020 budget was. And the other question is, I mentioned the 3 components of stewardship. And I'll give you a clue. They all begin with the letter T, as in Tony. So email me back with those 2 answers, and you'll get credit for attending Sunday school this week.